Hi, my name is Dan and I'm the co-founder of Experience Partners Consulting Company. We mainly focus on customer experience transformation by enriching and redesigning customer journeys. To enhance customer experience for your company, before delivering any value-added initiatives, the very first step is to understand where you're actually standing right now, what your customers are feeling, what they're happy with, what's on the other hand causing their dissatisfaction. And for that, you can use multiple techniques, from running interviews and polls to analyzing publicly available reviews, reading through customer support logs, and so on. But here's also where customer journey mapping, or CGM, coming into play. So basically, we interact with our customers through a multitude of touch points across many stages of customer lifecycle. There can actually be hundreds of these touch points, and CGM is a technique used to present these interactions in a structured way. And by the way, Miro is a great tool to do it. So let's jump to the board and take a look at one of the examples. So this is an illustrative example of my customer journey at Auchan, which is one of the large international retailers. This CGM might seem to be quite a massive one, however, it's actually a simplified version. As in the real-life mapping projects, the results turn to be several times larger. Thanks to Miro, we've got virtually unlimited space for these and can save trees by doing this online instead of mapping our journeys with stickers on the wall. The CGM can be broken down into the stages of customer lifecycle and layers of information. Let's look at each of these parts separately. The stages of customer lifecycle can differ from industry to industry and quite often get adjusted to the specifics of the business. In this particular case, we start with ignorance, when I even do not know about the store. And here, it's important to analyze the opportunities for Auchan to proactively capture my attention. Then we move to the discovery stage, when I've got a need and start searching for the solutions. In this case, I need to go shopping and look for the nearby stores. The questions we might ask ourselves as Auchan representatives are, for example, how easy it is to find Auchan through various channels, how we as a company are standing against the competition, how comprehensive the information is about the store, and so on. Then we move to the next stage, when we're going to the store. It would be useful to answer the questions like, is the address specified correctly across various platforms? Is the store added to the widely used navigation services? How easy is it to find the store in the shopping mall, and so on and so forth? Then we enter the store. What is our first experience with the store? Can the entrance be easily spotted? How easy is it to take the cards? How convenient these cards are? How welcoming are the guards? And so on. We can assess all of these and other points at this stage. Afterwards, we move to the shopping stage, which is actually a mixture of experiences in various departments: navigation experience, interactions with employees, and other areas. Then we move to the payment stage, where we try to navigate to the checkout area, wait in the queue, put our goods from the cart to the cash register tape, interact with the cashier, get aware of the non-standard payment process implemented in Auchan, put the goods in the packs, and pay for the goods. Then we're leaving the store, and the areas we might look into is how easy it is to get out of the store, and it actually turned that it's not that easy. How easy it is to navigate to the parking from the store, whether it's possible to get out of the store to the parking with a cart, whether there are any parking discounts for Russian customers if the parking is paid, and so on and so forth. Then we move to the phase of post-purchase online interactions, when I explore the information on the website, subscribe for a newsletter, discover Auchan accounts in various social networks, and interact with the company through these channels. As I've already said, the stages can be quite different from company to company. And in this particular case, it's the next stage is the participation in the promo campaign and the usage of Auchan Scan and Pay system, which is something similar to Amazon Go, when you do not need to interact with the cashiers, but instead scan your purchases on your own, on the go, and pay using the app. The next phase is repeat purchases, when I continue on visiting Auchan from time to time. The areas to explore are the mechanics of the loyalty program, which was not present in Auchan at that time, personalization, and other ways to grow my LTV, as well as the ways of making me a promoter using some kind of a referral program. And the last stage is related to retention. When I stop visiting Auchan, how does the store re-engage with me to get me back? How does it capture the feedback on the reasons why I stopped visiting the store? Is there any structured approach to retaining customers at all? So this stage consists of just one step, but this is only because it is an as-is CGM which outlines current customer experience. And there were virtually no efforts from Auchan's side to re-engage with customers based on the history of their purchases at the time of journey mapping. Overall, when designing the stages of customer journey, there are actually a few tips to keep in mind. First, try to take a broader look. Do not start a CGM, for example, with users installing your app, but rather start with how they actually discover this app, how they get interested and make a decision to install. In a similar way, do not finish your CGM with, for example, a user getting the product delivered from your e-commerce store. Think of how you could turn these users into loyal ones after the purchase, how you can influence their decision to purchase again, how you can make them recommend you publicly, how you retain them, and even probably how you win back those users who have left long ago. Second, it's up to you to decide on the level of detail. But my advice is the more detailed the steps are, the more valuable insight you get. And third is especially when you're creating an as-is CGM and want all the key touch points to be assessed on the map, it's sometimes useful to incorporate various scenarios into the CGM. So, for instance, when searching for something using Google and Yandex, which is another search engine, you might get different results. When interacting with official company accounts in social networks, for instance, Facebook page can be designed and managed quite well, while at the same time, Instagram page can be managed poorly. So, despite it makes the scenario a little bit larger, designing the journey in the way to cover all the various touchpoints can make it more holistic and comprehensive. Now let's move to the layers of information. Depending on your business need, you can include various layers, but let's review the layers which I used in this example. The first layer is steps or customer actions. As I've highlighted, the more detailed the steps are, the higher the chances of spotting an interesting insight or coming up with a good idea of an enhancement. Second layer is the touch point. Touchpoints can be quite different, whether a customer interacts with your customer service over the phone or chat in Facebook Messenger, opens your Google My Business listing or App Store product page, reading price tags within the store, or receives an email newsletter, put it here. The next layer is expectations. For each step, we should look at the industry, how others do it, should compile the best practices in certain areas, like, for example, what are the best practices in customer support over chat. Run customer research and add a bit of common sense to complement the previous pieces of content to come up with the expectations set for each of the steps. Next, we jump to the experience or observations layer and break it down to positive and negative, using green and red stickers, for example. Each important observation is one sticker, so this is the rule of thumb. The content for this layer can actually come up from various sources. For example, the interviews with representatives of key customer segment or personas. Poll data, if you run any CSI surveys. You can also use customer support backlog of complaints if you get this recorded. Also, it's quite useful to run your own analysis of customer journey, so that you could walk through the whole journey and identify the inefficiencies. Also, feedback from employees is quite important, as sometimes they can actually see the issues that are not yet spotted by customers. And by fixing these issues, you can prevent the dissatisfaction. And last but definitely not the least, the benchmarking is a great source of content, as comparing your company with competitors step by step along the customer journey can provide incredible amount of insight. Another important layer is illustrations or proofs. When running a CGM project, it's quite probable that you will experience pushback from various departments. Some people might quickly spot the bugs that you have identified, quickly fix these, and say that these bugs did not exist at all and that the company delivers excellent performance on this touch point. To avoid this, when possible, use illustrations or proofs. Just upload a photo or a video to the board and use the linking functionality in Miro so that others, after reading an observation, could quickly jump to the proof and get familiar with it. Then the next layer is emotions, which can be treated as the difference between the expectation on the one hand and the current experience on the other hand. By looking at these two layers, we'll need to decide whether the expectations are not met, or hopefully exceeded. Another option is to set up the feedback management processes within your company in accordance with the customer journey and integrate CSI surveys into the key touchpoints. In this case, satisfaction survey results can be used for this layer as a source. Next is the importance layer. Ideally, content for this layer can be sourced from the poll data or customer interviews. However, if it's quite difficult to obtain, especially taking CGM size into account, you can use business sense and common sense instead here. And last but not the least is the layer of recommendations, which are actually the incremental steps needed to make your way from CGM as is to CGM to be, the desired state of customer experience. Again, creating the content for this layer requires comprehensive research to be done or getting experts in various fields to join the team. Okay. Once the initial mapping is completed, you can first congratulate yourselves with creating such a large deliverable, but still you might have three main questions. First, what to do with this CGM? Second, who should deliver the enhancements? And third is which issues should be prioritized? First, do not treat CGM as a project, but rather treat it as an operational activity. This should be a living entity. And once you face a customer complaint or some piece of feedback, check it if it's actually reflected in experience layer. And if it's not, If it's something new, then just add it to the CGM as another sticker. If you get some issue fixed, then mark it accordingly and change the sticker from red to green. And if you initiate any new projects, then you can use CGM to map the impact of the project on the customer journey. Second, answering the question of who should do it, who should be responsible, you can actually use the tagging functionality in Miro and tag each experience or recommendation sticker with a department or employee responsible for delivering the enhancement. Going forward, it will be quite easy to filter the enhancement by a department by filtering the stickers by tag. And third is the prioritization. In order to decide which initiatives to launch first, you can combine the layers of importance and emotions and prioritize those which are important and cause the worst emotions. And as an alternative, I would also consider plotting the initiatives on a matrix with the axis of effort to get an enhancement implemented and the expected impact on customers. So that's it for this example of a customer journey map. You can review it in detail, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me anything you'd like on Facebook. Keep in touch.